So I've been reviewing quadcopters for a little while now, and I've been talking about wanting to get into something larger, and as you can see from this, I have. After a lot of deliberation, a lot of going back and forth, I actually decided to go out of my own pocket. I went straight to Amazon and used some gift cards that I had, and I picked up one of these. I'll have a link down in the video description if this is something that you're interested in, but on Amazon, the black and white versions of this were available for just under $100 a piece, which is definitely very reasonable, and with prime shipping, meaning that it showed up within one day. So I cannot complain about that in the slightest. So I'm going to be doing multiple videos about this, and I thought today we would just do a quick unboxing and a setup. We'd get it all ready to go. Maybe later on in the week we'll do a maiden flight with it. It's really coming down outside right now, so I'm not going to be able to take it out and fly it today, unfortunately. I did order the one with the 2 megapixel HD camera attached, so later in the week or sometime next week maybe I'll do a video using this camera. But I've also worked out a way to attach my Yi camera to it, my Xiaomi Yi camera, so I may also do some videos in the future using that camera because I believe it's actually got a higher quality. But for the time being, let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at it. And because I did forget to mention it entirely, this is the Syma X8C Venture. So let's just go ahead and open the box. All right, that was quite a bit of work, and I think I did it upside down, but it is out of the box at this point. So first off, as you might expect, you will get an instruction manual. I'm actually going to be reading through this thoroughly. I don't normally read through the quadcopter manuals, but in this case, I do want to make sure that I'm thoroughly safe with this one. So I'll go ahead and read through that at a later time before I do take the first flight with it. Looking at the underside of the packaging, I see here we have the battery. If you can see that there, it is a 7.4 volt, 2000 milliamp hour, 25C battery. So it's going to have an awful lot of power. This, if I remember correctly, is the charging port, and this is the way you actually plug it into the quadcopter. I've seen there are several different versions of the X8, so apparently some of them have this flat prong connector and some of them have a round connector. So I'm glad this is the one. I'm going to go ahead and order another battery at least for this one because I'm probably going to want to have multiple ones. This right here should be the charger. It's going to have another piece to attach to it, of course, right here. It does say on there 10-volt charger. It gives you some indicator light information, power, and charger. And this is where the battery itself will plug in. I see over here we have the camera. This is the 2 megapixel version, and it does have a 3.5 millimeter plug and this interesting little connector to actually hook it to the quadcopter. We have a lot of blades in here, as you can see. Here's a set of 4 blades. Looks like 2 A's and 2 B's. So that is one full set. And then over here, there's another entire set of blades. So definitely can't complain about that. Here underneath those legs, you see the landing gear. We'll have to attach to those. This is the controller. Definitely a very large, very nice hobby style controller. A little bit larger than the ones that I've used up to this point, but really the same layout. You've got your trim buttons. You've got your, I would assume, rates and flips. Not sure I'm going to be doing a whole lot of flips with this thing. And as far as the controller itself, it does take 6 AA batteries. So hopefully should be able to get some pretty decent distance out of this thing. Then to wrap up this side, I see a screwdriver, a bunch of little screws, a micro SD card reader, which I would assume goes with this. It does have a 4 gigabyte micro SD card included in it, but I'll probably replace that with something else. Or like I said, probably end up using a different camera entirely. And then these are the nuts to actually hold the props on. Not sure what the little plastic pieces are. I'm guessing they go up inside those little screw-on nuts. And of course, the pièce de résistance, the last piece, the thing that is the most important of all. This is the main body of the quadcopter. It is a little bit scuffed up out of the package, but I'm not really that concerned about it. Nothing is broken that I can see. And here you've got the prop guards, just in case you choose to use those. I will probably start out using those just for the sake of not wanting to break things. And because I did completely forget about that, we do have the power connector to charge the battery with. So that does fit in there just fine. And it does actually have an American plug on it, so that's definitely nice. And just in case you're curious, it does output 10 volts at 800 milliamps. So it probably won't be a terribly fast charger, but it'll definitely get the job done, I think. But at this point, I guess we can go ahead and start assembling everything. All right, and I decided to go ahead and start by installing the blades. As you see, I've already got one in place. Just wanted to see how it worked before I started showing anything. So this is not something that I really expected. It doesn't give a whole lot of instructions in the book. It's not terribly clear, so let's go ahead and show that. As you can see out of the box, it comes with this little plastic piece on there. What you have to do is twist it whichever direction the motor spins. So you see right here, there's an arrow that shows the motor spinning that way. So you're going to spin this blade that way until it comes about halfway, and then there's a little iron pin in there, metal pin of some kind. You're going to push it out. This is a little bit tricky and tough to do at this angle, but there you go. That little pin has now come out, which means that this little plastic piece can just slide up and off. So now we've got it ready to go ahead and put the blade on. So in this case, this is motor B. So I'm going to take one of the blades that says B on it, as you can see there. I'm going to slide it down over the pin, give it a little spin until it goes all the way down. And there it is. So at this point, I can take this little plastic piece again, slide it back down over it until you're past that hole. Make sure you get the right side because only one of the sides has this little groove all the way cut in it, and we'll push the pin back through that carefully. That's a very awkward process, but now that you've got it in there, you should be able to twist this in the opposite direction, and there you go. You snapped back in place. Now the blade is secured, so you can take one of these shiny little nuts, put it over the top, make sure everything lines up appropriately, and twist, and it should go into place. Now you have a blade on there. I'm gonna go ahead and do that 2 more times, and then we'll move on. All right, and I'm just now putting the last one on. That did get significantly easier after doing the first couple, which you would expect. So at this point, we do have all 4 blades on. Not sure if I'm gonna put all these on and leave them on, but I'm just gonna show how to do it at least. Right here, you may be able to see there's a little section that looks odd. I noticed this before it even mentioned it in the manual. If you put a fingernail under there and pull, this little piece of plastic comes out, and you can actually take the prop guard and slide it in there. There's a little bridge right there in the middle. You have to fit it around, and then 2 on the sides it has to fit through. So now if you take 2 little screws, fit in right there, this will hold it in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for all of these. All right, lesson learned very, very quickly here, and I thought I would go ahead and pass it along. As you can see, there are 2 different types of screws that are included. One that has this large flat head on it, and the other one that is very small but a little longer. The ones that are small and a little longer are what you're gonna wanna use for the prop guards. And I figured while I've got all this apart here, I'll go ahead and show you. If you have a problem with the motor and you need to change the motor out, you can, with 2 simple screw removal, get access to the motor, and they are very simple plug and play motors. So I would assume that you basically just pull this out and then unplug it, plug a new one in, and you're good to go. Just thought that was a helpful little tip. And at this point, I've gone ahead and screwed all of the prop guards in. This is the very last screw for all of that. And they're in there pretty snugly. So now we can go ahead and start putting the landing legs on. There are 4 of them, and they do take 2 screws a piece. And they should be all the same. So you basically just pop it in like that, put 2 screws in it, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And we're down to the last leg, so I can go ahead and just poke that one right in there. Take the screws in. As with everything else, once you've done it 2 or 3 times, it gets a little bit easier. And it's actually very handy that the screwdriver they included is apparently magnetic. And there we go. And these little pieces that came out for the prop guards, I'll probably go ahead and hang on to those because they may be going back in sooner rather than later. And as you can see, we did come out with several extra screws over here, so I'll just hang on to those as well. You never know if you'll need those or not. Next, the last thing to do, I guess, in case you do have this version, is to install the camera. So I'm gonna go ahead, make sure everything's facing the front, then we'll slide in from the front. You see it's got the little tabs on this. We'll slide it backward. Just clicks into place like that, and then plug in. I would assume you're probably supposed to plug in first. Oh, I really like that as an option. Again, not sure I'm gonna end up using this camera, but it is nice that it does have the ability to rotate at least a little bit. You do have your on-off switch right here on the bottom, which is very, very handy. And the very last thing before you put the batteries in the controller and turn everything on, of course, you open this battery bay door here in the back, grab the plug out. As you can see here, it does have the flat plugs, as I mentioned earlier, flat plugs to flat plugs. We'll go ahead and push them together. We'll stuff the battery and the cables and everything back inside. Lots and lots of spare room up in there, so that's very nice. Close the battery bay door, and that's that. So at this point, if I wanted to, we could go ahead and flip it on. You can see there in the back, we do have green LEDs. In the front, we have red LEDs. And if you look down inside the camera, there's actually a light on inside the camera as well. So that means everything is powered on. It's all ready to go. I would just have to turn on the controller and pair it all up. But unfortunately, as I said, it is downpouring the rain outside, so I can't take it out and fly it at the moment. And even though it does have prop guards, I'm not gonna be flying this inside my house. My house is just, it's not a warehouse, so we're not gonna be doing that. So unfortunately, that must end our video for today. When I do take it outside and do its maiden flight, I will of course take the Xiaomi Yi camera. Maybe I'll do an interspersed video of me flying it with the video from it. I'm not sure if this does 1080p video or not. I think since it's 2 megapixel, it's only 720p video, but I hope that you're as excited about this as I am. As I said, I did purchase this out of my own pocket from Amazon. So this was not a review unit or anything. This was literally just something that I wanted to step up to a larger quadcopter with a little more power that could carry a camera for me, and this should hopefully be able to do it. So if you're interested in picking up one of these of your very own, as I said, I will have links down in the video description. It is available with Prime shipping, so you can have it shipped to your door in 1 or 2 days, depending on if you want to pay the extra $4 for overnight next day shipping. But that's going to be about all for me for today. Time to start reading through this manual before I go any farther. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to leave a thumbs up down below if you like this video. Share this video with your friends if you want to see more videos like this. Subscribe if you want to see any of my videos when they become available. And I will see you again next time.